So when I first decided to take this class, I liked superheroes and stuff like that and superhero movies, um, but I'd never really gotten into comics or anything like that. I wasn't a huge reader, to be honest, but basically when I looked through the comics, I figured out that there's a lot more that goes into a character than what meets the eye. Like I feel like for the most part, if you don't read the comics, then you really just get to see the surface of a character. Like Batman, for example, there's a lot more going on with Batman. In the comics, he goes through a ton compared to if you just watch the movies or if you just knew about him through pop culture and stuff like that. There's always a lot more going on to the characters. You get to get a little bit into their brain. You get to see what they think and stuff like that, which I thought was really interesting. But the one thing that I really liked about the class so far is when we talked about sidekicks, because throughout my entire life, I always thought of sidekicks as like a yes sir, no sir kind of person who would just do whatever uh, their superhero boss would tell them to do. So like Robin, for example, I always thought that he would just listen to whatever Batman told him to do and he'd do it no questions asked. But through the comics, I was able to learn that as they grow up and start to learn more about the world, they realize that maybe what Batman was doing was not right at all, just kind of using them as weapons. Even if Batman doesn't see it that way, they're able to make their own decisions and can see it from their own perspective, which I thought was pretty interesting. And I thought that might be a good idea for the written project. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do yet. I'm hoping that I can get inspired through the next two uh, comics that we're going to be reading. So hopefully I can get a little bit more out of those, plus the classes that we're going to go over in class. Um, but I also thought it'd be a good idea to go over maybe why that happens in other stories like the X-Men and stuff like that, why Professor X thinks it's a good idea or why he thinks it's justified to be able to take kids from around the world and bring them to his mansion and train them kind of similarly to what Batman is doing and just using them as weapons, even if they see it as keeping the peace or helping others and stuff like that. Um, just seeing it from different perspectives like that, I think would be pretty interesting. But it's definitely not set in stone that that's what I want to do for my project. It's just an idea. So I'm hoping to learn a little bit more as we go throughout the class, and I can hopefully become more inspired. But yeah, that's what I got so far.